Next question. Since you said service pages don't need to be optimized for topics and categories and instead should be optimized. No, 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 no. It can't. What I'm saying is you can optimize for the individual service level, but I still recommend, like in my case, again, because I don't have multiple service categories, I just do a top level page for the primary services that tree service guys create, right? Let me just demonstrate this. All right, so I'm going to widen this up a little bit. So the services here, tree service is the home page. If you guys understand, that's what the home page is optimized for tree service, which is the service category in this case, because it's a single service category business, right? If it was an HVAC contractor that does HVAC, plumbing, electrical, or even HVAC that has multiple subcategories, right? Like HVAC underneath that, the subcategories, you have air conditioning, you have central heating, right? You have air quality, indoor air quality, right? You have those different types of like subcategories that go under HVAC. Tree service is very simple. It's a single service category. So I optimize the homepage for tree service, and then I have separate pages for each of those guys. That's what I'm trying to what I'm getting at here, guys, is you have to understand how to create the hierarchy of the site and the topics or the themes of the site, right? You have to know how to structure it properly. And then if a single service category business like this, then I can do what I'm showing you. But if you have a company, like again, just an HVAC, don't even say HVAC contractor that does plumbing and electrical, that's even more complicated, right? It can be done. It can be done. There's no question. But what I'm saying is let's just talk about HVAC, period. That's all they do. They don't do plumbing, they don't do electrical. But there's still multiple subcategories. Again, air conditioning, central heating, indoor air quality. There's three of them right there, right? That could be separated out. And so for that, I would have, if it was a single, if it was an HVAC contractor, I might optimize the homepage for HVAC, which is the broadest category, right? HVAC contractor, HVAC, well, HVAC contractor is the category, Google Business category. But then you go look at HVAC in Wikipedia, and that's the topic, right? And so I might optimize the homepage for HVAC. So that's the top level service category. But then I would have as top level service pages air conditioning, central heating, indoor air quality. You understand? Now, what if it was an HVAC contractor that also did plumbing and electrical? Well, then on the homepage, I would be referencing the company name first, who you are, what they do. I would reference all three of those plumbing or HVAC, plumbing, and electrical, where you do it, the broadest location entity in which all of those service area locations are confined or contained within, if that makes sense. And then I would have top level service pages, one for HVAC, one for plumbing, and one for electrical. And then I would have subcategory pages or child pages for the supporting services within each service category, right? So then I would have under HVAC again, um, air conditioning, central heating, indoor air quality. Under plumbing, I might have, water heaters, piping, right, for pipe installation and that kind of stuff. Whatever, plumbing maintenance. So that's repair, right? Something like that. And then under electrical, whatever else, new construction, remodeling, whatever, whatever. All I'm saying is that's how I would structure the site. So it's all depends on it. It's the standard answer. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get the back to here. Standard answer in SEO is it depends. So, so when you say what are your thoughts on combining multiple service into a single service page? For example, in a dental business, combining services like braces, aligners, and retainers on one page, while they can be covered by orthodontics page, but since we're optimizing for the individual service level, we would not do that. So the SEO title could be braces, aligners, and retainers, brand name, and the URL would be something like braces, aligners, retainers. Again, I wouldn't do that though, Huzaifa. I would do an orthodontics top level page. That's a top level service category. And then under that, I would have child pages, one for braces, one for clear aligners, right? Because that's the actual topic term. The entity is clear aligners. Invisalign is a brand of clear aligners, right? And then retainers and stuff like that. I would have those as child pages of the top level orthodontics category page, right? And then you would have a separate page. Well, now you don't need to. I would try it as what you're saying on a top level page like ortho. I would still optimize for the top level term though, and then have these as H2s on the page, right? Each one of those would be H2s on that top level page because that's the top level topic, right? That would be if you were going to try to do it. And by the way, I do recommend trying to do that with one page first to see because that will you would need less content, less pages, and you'll have less link building targets for the site then after that site's built that way. And see how it performs. If it doesn't perform as well as you would like, then you can always go in and add child pages, pull that section out of the top level page, and then create child pages, one for each, that would be nested under that orthodontics top level service category. Does that make sense? And then see if that performs better. But why start with more work than less work? You know what I mean? I always try to start with the minimum viable product first to see how is it going to perform. Optimize to the best of your ability at that level and see how it performs. Because if it's done properly, it may not need child pages. I don't want to add more complication to a site build unless it's absolutely needed. If that's clear. So that's why I said it all depends on the actual, and there's a lot of hypothetical questions, Huzaifa. So I don't like to answer hypothetical questions. It's better if we have, kind of a real world example to look at. But as far as, like I said, depends on the type of the site, how many top level services they have and supporting services and all of that. Then I will make the decision if I was to be building the site, which it's not, I don't build sites unless they're tree service sites. You know what I mean? But if I were to build the site, then I would make the decision based upon the specific needs of that client or that business, how I would actually build it out. I would always start, though, with doing the minimum amount of work required. So optimizing at the top level categories and topics, build the whole site that way first and see how it performs, right? And by the way, I wouldn't be doing this for the first time with a new client in a new industry because that's not how I operate in my agency, as I mentioned before. Like, do you understand? I would have already figured out whether or not I needed to have inner pages for all of this stuff or if I could do it at the top level category and topic level. Do you understand? Because again, if I'm going to go out and pitch my SEO services, which might include building a website like I do for Tree Guys. I don't build websites, guys. We do offer Tree Guys websites, but I don't like to do web design and everything else. But if I were to structure a site, map it out for a site team to build, then if I was in this industry, I would have that already figured out, right? It wouldn't be like, this is my first time, which, by the way, this is what I've been saying on Hump Day Hangouts for years, which is, first of all, pick one industry. And second of all, start building sites in that industry that you can use for lead gen or anything else so that you can start testing what performs the best. So that when you go out and sell your services, unlike what a lot of local SEOs do, which really have no idea what the hell they're doing, and they're going out and pitching that they can get local businesses results when they really don't know. They have no confidence in their abilities. They're not consistent in their quality or their results or anything else, but yet they still go pitch their services and make sales. But why? Why do that when if you go into one industry and you spend time building a few different sites where you can test the different configurations to determine which performs the best, then when you go to pitch your services, you have confidence because you know what's going to get the client results because you've done the proper amount of testing. And you already know by just having a conversation with them or looking at their current website to determine what their products and services are, you'll know exactly how to structure their site if you're going to pitch them on a site. Do you understand? So again, it's like I don't like doing a whole bunch of hypotheticals because my answer is going to be go test. I'll give you the framework about it, but always start at the top level and only start adding more complexity to the build if it needs it, is what I'm saying. So in some highly competitive areas, you might have to have subpages for all this stuff. But in low competition areas, you wouldn't, most likely. And so again, if you test these things, then you'll know. And then you'll know which site structure to apply to a particular business depending on what their situation is, their specific situation is, right? Are they in a very competitive market or a low competition market? Because then you know, well, I'm going to have a bunch of sub pages. It's going to be more link building targets. It's going to be a more complicated build. Then that's this price point. But if they're in a low competition area and I know that I can get by with a very basic site like what I do, because we target, hyper local areas. If I was going to sell tree services sites and SEO to somebody that has a very large service area, I'm going to build them multiple sites. No kidding, because the small sites just tend to perform better. Does that make sense? So the point is, I would have different price points depending on what category or situation the particular client falls into. but I would have a lot of this stuff figured out before I'm out there pitching my services all the time, which is again going back to pick one niche, start testing, and make that your niche. Make that what you focus on entirely so that you can figure all this out and build a whole business around it instead of a bunch of hypothetical questions about a bunch of different industries and a bunch of, it just it's too difficult, and I don't know how anybody does it and stays successful in this industry anymore. I really don't. Being spread too thin.